In this video, I wanted to show you the key features of the REDMAGIC 7, a phone that is designed for hardcore mobile gamers, but given its powerful hardware, it might be interesting to a wider audience too. Let's take a look. This phone follows a familiar REDMAGIC design language we've seen for years, but now the company changed a few things here and there to make it stand out from the crowd again. The most premium Supernova model has this semi-transparent backplate that allows you to see some of the phone's internals, including a fan that has these nice RGB lights. Besides, there is an illuminated REDMAGIC symbol. Obviously, you can turn off the lights or the fan manually. Further, you can find an air exhaust grill, and a clear housing shows some of the device's internals. Flip the phone to the front and you'll find a 6.8-inch AMOLED display that has all the bells and whistles required for the best gaming experience. It has a 165Hz refresh rate, 1 billion colors, and a multi-finger 720Hz touch sampling rate. Besides, the panel can reach brightness up to 700 nits and it is covered with a Gorilla Glass 5. In practice, I really like the overall quality of the screen, and 1080p plus resolution is absolutely fine for this kind of device, especially considering the best-in-class refresh rate. I found the under-the-display fingerprint reader to be fast and accurate. The frame is made of a solid piece of metal, and on the left you can find a dedicated gaming space switch, ventilation grill, and a volume rocker. On the right, you can find an air exhaust grill, a power key, and a mic that is a part of a 3-microphone system for better audio recording while gaming. I like the fact that the REDMAGIC 7 still has a headphone jack, and its dual speaker system is loud and the quality of sound is pretty good. Unfortunately, the phone does not have any water resistance rating, and there is no micro SD card slot for storage expansion. When it comes to hardware, the REDMAGIC 7 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset. I have the fully spec'd model with a whopping 18GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. All of these specifications look impressive on paper, but when it comes to gaming, you need a great cooling system, and this is where the REDMAGIC 7 is much better than ordinary phones. You can read several pages of information about the cooling system of this device on the official page, as there is a lot of tech going on. In short, it uses a combination of VC cooling, graphite, thermal gel, copper foil, cooling aluminum, cooling air duct, high-performance composite phase change materials, and other technology to keep the phone cool. The result of this, probably the best gaming experience on any phone, as this device is being actively cooled while gaming, or you can turn the fan on manually if you are doing other CPU or graphically intensive tasks. Simply flip the switch and you'll enter a dedicated gaming space. Here you can find all the games you have on the device. You can check out the plugins, turn on or off the fan, and adjust other settings. Further, you can adjust settings for each game individually. Once you start playing, you can open up the quick settings menu that allows you to adjust quite a lot of settings to meet your gaming needs. All of the games I played on this phone run without breaking a sweat at the highest graphic settings, and the visuals look great. However, not all of the games can make use of this powerful hardware, but that's the limitation of those games, not the phone itself. For instance, Asphalt 9, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, PUBG, and other titles were locked to 60 FPS. Another thing worth noting, you can switch to the Ultra HD graphics on the PUBG, which makes the visuals look stunning, but the game limits the frame rate to 45 FPS. On a positive note, there are quite a lot of titles that utilize the 165Hz refresh rate screen to its full potential. Just to name a few: The Real Racing 3, Dead Trigger 2, Bullet Force, and other titles. This shows that the REDMAGIC 7 is a future-proof device, and there will be more mobile games in the future that can make use of such a high refresh rate display. Further, you can play any game you want on this device for hours without worrying about overheating, and that's the main advantage over conventional devices. Besides other enhancements, I found shoulder triggers to be useful in titles like PUBG. I set it for aiming with a scope and shooting, but you can customize them any way you want. The day-to-day performance of the REDMAGIC 7 is excellent too. In fact, this is definitely one of the fastest phones you can get right now, as everything is super smooth. The UI is based on Android 12, but we have REDMAGIC OS 5.0 built in on top of it. There are quite a few features and customization options to play with, and it's a likable user interface despite a few weird translations in the UI that I can live with. A 165Hz refresh rate and good software optimization makes the REDMAGIC 7 feel like one of the fastest phones I've used to date. When it comes to cameras, the REDMAGIC 7 ships with a 64MP main, 8MP ultra-wide, and a 2MP macro lens. On the front, we have an 8MP shooter. The wide-angle camera does not really impress as images lack detail and sharpness. The main shooter can take decent-looking photos, but the quality is not on par with other phones in this price range. On the other hand, this is a gaming phone and camera is not top priority on the feature list, and I don't believe that Nubia intends to compete with more camera-centric devices. For occasional picture taking, the main shooter is capable of taking pretty nice photos with a good amount of detail, albeit colors look a little bit washed out in some of the shots and contrast could be better. You can also use 2 and 5 times digital zoom modes, but the quality is mediocre as you would expect. The low light shots look decent. Again, the quality is not on par with flagships, but you can still take decent looking shots. The portraits look surprisingly good with minimal or no artifacts. It's frustrating that the native camera app has a selfie portrait mode, but there is no blurry background effect. Either way, selfie quality is not the best, but it's definitely usable for social media needs. The phone can record videos in 8K resolution, but it is shaky and the playback is not smooth even on my M1 iMac. That's why I suggest you choose 4K 30 or 60fps modes for nice, smooth and stable video. The 1080p selfie video quality is just average, as the footage is quite soft and very shaky. When it comes to battery life, it's just mediocre. Expect to get no more than 5 hours of screen on time on this phone on a daily basis. If you plan to game a lot, the SOT times will be lower. On the other hand, you get a fast 67W charger in the retail box, which fully charges the device in just about 38 minutes. To sum up, the REDMAGIC 7 is a mobile powerhouse, but it doesn't come without its flaws. The key shortcomings include the lack of any water resistance rating, there is no micro SD card slot, there are still some weird translations in the user interface, the wide-angle camera does not impress, there is no real portrait mode on the selfie camera, and the selfie video is very shaky. Lastly, the battery life could be better, but you have to know that it has to provide energy for all the powerful hardware. Speaking of hardware, it is one of the best you can get on any phone today. Paired up with the most advanced cooling system, the gaming and day-to-day performance is excellent, the display is great, the main camera is pretty good considering this is not a camera-centric device, and the REDMAGIC 7 continues the tradition of manufacturing design that makes the phone stand out from the crowd. All things considered, the REDMAGIC 7 is a mobile gamer's dream phone despite having a few shortcomings. Even if you don't play games on your phone, this device is still worth checking out if you want an insane amount of power that will never cause any overheating issues. What do you think about the REDMAGIC 7? Would you buy this device or would you choose another option? As always, like the video if you liked it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, drop me a comment down below if you have any questions, and as always, it was Linus, thank you for watching and see you soon.